the topic, student should be able to define plan. Okay, awak jumpa lah sebelum-sebelum ni plant and machinery. So, apa konsep plant and machinery in taxation? Okay, determine component of qualifying plant expenditure. Okay, establish when plant expenditure is incurred. Explain condition for claiming initial allowance and annual allowance. Okay, so these two initial allowance and annual allowance, ini yang kita akan panggil as capital allowance. Ada dua terms, initial and annual. Okay, explain the treatment of small value asset.
Madam.
The treatment of unutilized capital allowance carry forward. Okay, so last time awak dah jumpa pun benda ni, capital allowance carry forward kan. So daripada tahun previous years awak tak boleh claim full and then you can carry forward to next year. Okay, then define disposal. Okay, then calculate balancing allowance, balancing charge. Okay, so these two terms pun awak dah biasa jumpa, balancing allowance, balancing charge. Okay, so these two balancing allowance and balancing charge will only appear if you dispose the non-current asset. Okay, next, show calculation for asset acquired under hire purchase. Okay, so hire purchase pun salah satu method of obtain your non-current asset. Okay, so plant and machinery. Okay, capital expenditure incurred for plant and machinery used for business would qualify for capital allowance. Okay, so awak sebelum-sebelum ni dah jumpa kan bila awak buat adjustment, boleh dengar ke?
Madam, ada orang request, Yasmin request.
Yasmin request nak masuk. Yasmin dah masuk? Mana Yasmin? Yasmin dah masuk? Dia bercakap. Kenapa lambat Yasmin?
Tak ada lagi ni madam.
Alright kelas, akak ni follow tak? Clear tak?
Follow.
Saya bukan dah admit ke Yasmin?
Baru masuk.
Sekejap, Syamina bercakap apa? Saya tak dengar lah. Tiba-tiba saya tak dengar suara awak ni. What happened actually?
Madam, saya baru pakai device sendiri. Jadi tu yang saya request tadi.
Oh, okay. So
Okay,
kenapa awak lambat?
Saya baru ambil device saya. Masa saya baru masuk pakai akaun saya.
Okay. Alright, so kita proceed. Okay, so class, capital expenditure, sebelum-sebelum ni awak dah jumpa kan, awak dah beli non-current asset, awak dah incur, okay. So, for your, the capital allowance only meant for capital expenditure. Okay, so capital expenditure ni sebelum-sebelum ni pun kalau awak jumpa dalam your income, your expenses, business expenses, dalam semua income kot, yang semuanya kita akan not allowable as expenses kan kalau awak jumpa capital expenditure. Okay, so this is not allowable expenditure and for this reason it will qualify for capital allowance. So only capital expenditure yang akan qualify for capital allowance. Okay, so plan, what is it plan? Plan is whatever apparatus used by businessman for carrying on his business. Okay, so awak akan memang gunalah the plan ni. Okay, so exclude stock in trade for resale but includes all goods and chattel, fixed or movable, leave or debt which he kept for permanent employment in his business. Okay, so this is the, apa nak cakap the definition by the Act. Okay, Akta Income Tax Act tu dia define plans ni whatever apparatus used by businessmen for carrying on business. Okay, awak gunakan alat ni untuk carry on business. Okay, so the plan tak termasuk stock in trade. Sebab stock in trade ni awak tak guna in business, awak akan jual dia to get profit. But apparatus ataupun alat-alat ni okay, so untuk plans ni awak tak jual but awak kena guna for generate income. Okay, next, expenditure incurred for setting up the operation of a plant is not considered to be planned. Okay, setting up the operation of business. Okay, this one kita boleh concern as kalau awak tengok awak baru pre-commencement expenses kan. So pre-commencement expenses also capital. Okay, sebab awak tak boleh tolak dia as business, it is not allowable as business income. Okay, so it is capital. So even capital tapi not considered to be plan. Okay, so walaupun dia capital, sebab kita nak tengok kat atas ni kita kata capital expenditure qualify for capital allowance kan. But expenditure incurred for setting up the operation, this is also capital expenditure. But this one is not considered to be plan. Okay, so dia akan jadi permanent loss lah. Awak tak boleh nak tolak dia kat mana-mana for pre-commencement expenditure. Okay, next. Okay, kelas boleh follow setakat ni?
Boleh.
Okay, so next, capital expenditure are planned if has the characteristic of either equipment or apparatus functioning in the actual processes of the trade of a person. Okay, so dia mesti ada karakter of equipment ataupun apparatus. So benda ni actually dia nak referring pada benda yang sama, tools that you use to generate your income. Okay, so the following tests can be used to determine whether an asset is planned for the purpose of capital allowance. So kita nak tengok lah whether this one boleh tak jadi capital, boleh jadi plan ke tak. Okay, so apparatus test, okay, is a equipment or apparatus used for purpose of carrying on trade. Okay, apparatus, okay, alat-alat awak, tools awak untuk purpose of carrying on trade. Okay, so for the apparatus is plan. Okay, next, premise. Kalau kita guna okay, kita nak test juga dia premise ke dia apparatus. So for premise, business premise used by business is not a plan. Okay, so business premise ni sebenarnya awak akan, this is not plan walaupun dia adalah capital. So for business premise ni actually dia akan masuk under the second part nanti, industrial building allowance. So it's not good or not charters. So for premise ni walaupun it is capital but it is not a plan. So premise ni awak kena identify lah, sebab dalam awak punya business tu awak ada banyak non-current asset. So non-current asset tu apa? Apparatus ke premise? Dan tu awak kena identify Okay, next, setting test. Okay, asset part of setting of a business is not a plan. Okay, ni yang kita cerita tadi lah, pre-commencement asset. So whatever yang awak guna as setting the business, so it is not a plan. Okay, then functional test. If it is one within which the business is carried on, so it is not a plan. Okay, one within. Dia function dia apa? One within which the business is carried on, so it is not a plan. So boleh tengoklah kat situ. Untuk functional test awak ada design test lah, traceability mark lah. Okay, so this one kita tak nak cerita lebih lanjut lah. So kan pening awak. Okay, so condition for a person to be eligible to claim capital allowance. So kita tak simply boleh, okay, ada syarat-syarat untuk awak boleh claim for your capital allowance. So first of all must be carrying on business. Okay, awak mesti carrying on a business. Kalau tak ada business or even you incurred capital allowance, kalau awak tak ada business, you incurred capital expenditure, so tak boleh So awak dah pernah tengok sebelum ni, kalau awak ada rental income, So awak buat renovation. So renovation tu is capital but tak ada apa-apa kita boleh buat, dia akan jadi your own permanent loss. Okay, you must have business first. Okay, second, he must incur qualifying expenditure. Okay, apa maksud dia ni? So for the qualifying expenditure, okay, itu yang kita kata sebagai aset yang qualify untuk dapat capital allowance. So bila awak dah kata dia qualify to get capital allowance, so kita namakan dia as qualifying expenditure. So he must incur means dia dah beli aset. Okay, dia beli aset tu Okay, ataupun aset-aset tu dia dah beli, dia dah incurred installation cost, dah incurred delivery cost. So all of this the person must incur. Okay, dia dah spend lah for this capital expenditure ni. Okay, so this one is second condition. And next, the qualifying plant or building must be used for the purpose of his business at the end of the relevant period. Okay, the qualifying plant or building, okay, ini syarat yang sama nanti kalau awak jumpa dalam IBA nanti, dia mesti dua-dua aset awak dan current aset awak ni must be used for the purpose of the business at the end of the relevant basis period. Okay, I think this one pun awak dah pernah jumpa sebelum ni in the topic partnership. Okay, you can claim the capital allowance if you are at the partnership at the end of the basis period. Awak berada at the end, baru awak qualify to claim capital allowance kan. Sama. So ini adalah konsep yang kita apply. Awak mesti ada guna the asset in your business at the end of the relevant basis period. Okay, he must next condition, he must be the owner of the plant or building at the end of the relevant basis period. Okay, so the owner, you must be the owner Okay, sebenarnya dia akan relate juga, awak dah incurred, semestinya awak adalah owner kan. But ada different situation nanti kalau awak kita tengok nanti. Okay, so kita nak tengok qualifying plant expenditure QPE ataupun QE ni. Okay, apart from the cost of plant or machinery being taken as QE, incidental expenditure incurred on the provision of the plant and machinery is also included as QE for capital allowance claim. Okay, incidental expenditure does not include revenue expenditure which is deductible under subsection 33 clause 1 of the Income Tax Act. Okay, so of course, cost of the plant of machinery is your QE, obviously lah So apart of that, selain daripada itu, incidental expenditure incurred in the provision is also included as QE. Okay, so incidental expenditure ni contohnya awak beli aircon, awak beli machinery, okay? So that incidental tu adalah termasuk sekali cost of delivery, cost of installation. Okay, so kalau aircon tu awak beli je, kalau awak tak install awak tak boleh guna. Awak mesti ada piping lah apa semua tu kan. Okay, so all of this also incidental cost, termasuklah cost-cost yang lain Even kalau awak kena bayar for tax, this is also incidental expenditure. Okay, incidental expenditure does not include revenue expenditure. Okay, so this one ada different lah sebab the rest of it is under capital expenditure. If also include for revenue, so this revenue expenditure will be excluded. Tak boleh masuk dalam your QE. Okay, so incidental expenditure that qualify. Okay, some expenditure incurred on the alteration of the existing building for the purpose of installing plant of machinery and other expenditure incurred incidentally to the installation thereof. Okay, example, Major Zamurahat bought a new machine with a price of 500,000 to prevent loud noise of the engine being heard on the other floor. The existing building needed to be altered to install soundproof wall. The alteration cost was 150,000. Okay, so the cost of machine and the cost of the alteration are QE. So on this case, awak punya machine 500,000 and then you need to incur another cost of alteration of 150. So for this, your QE qualifying expenditure would be both cost of machine and cost of alteration. Okay, so awak masih boleh guna but dia akan mengganggu orang lain kan. So you need to install the soundproof wall. So this is incidental expenditure. Okay, so both costs are qualified for qualifying expenditure QE. Okay, kelas setakat ni follow tak?
Follow.
Oh.
Okay, follow Okay, so the other incidental expenditure incurred on preparing, cutting, tunneling or leveling land. Okay, so yang tadi awak adjust, awak alter pada bangunan, pada building. So itu salah satu incidental cost. Okay, the other one, awak buat adjustment pada land, pada tanah. Okay, so a part of your building, dekat bahagian lain, dekat tanah. Okay, so to prepare a site for the installation of the plant or machinery. Okay, awak sediakan tapak dekat tanah Okay, so for this one, you have extra condition does not exceed 10% of aggregate cost of plant or machinery and the cost of preparing the site. Okay, so untuk incidental cost installing dekat dalam building tadi, there are no rules, tak ada rules. Okay, so but for installation, preparing the site dekat tanah ni, there are rules of 10% ni. Okay, so we look at example. An egg whisking machine costing 150,000 was installed in a bread and cake factory. A site was prepared for the machine and the cost of preparing the site was 10,000 in scenario 1 and 20,000 in scenario 2. Okay, so kita tengok scenario 1 first. Cost of the machine is 150,000. Cost of preparing site 10,000. So the total cost or aggregate cost is 160. So if you calculate 10% of aggregate cost, okay, so maksudnya 10% times dengan 160 and then you get 16,000. Okay, so QE awak akan jadi, QE awak dekat sini, you can get your QE for the total of 160,000. So 160 means it is 150 plus 10,000. Okay, so kenapa dekat sini your cost QE is 160, awak punya 10% of aggregate cost is 16,000, but your cost of preparing site only 10,000. So it is less than 10%. Okay, so for this situation, so all of the cost, the aggregate cost can be your QE. Okay, next, look at the second scenario. Cost of machine 150,000, but cost of preparing site is 20,000. So you get in total the aggregate cost of 170,000. And if you calculate the 10%, so this situation, your 10% of aggregate cost is 17,000. Okay, in this case, you cannot take all of your aggregate costs as your QE. Okay, so now your QE only 150. Because your cost of preparing the site 20%, 20,000 is more than 10% of aggregate cost. Okay, your aggregate cost only 10% means that 17,000 kan. So now you incurred for cost of preparing the site 20,000 which is more than 10% of aggregate cost. Follow tak kelas, faham tak situation ni? Faham tak kelas? Faham? Faham So kita ada 10% rules. 10% ni awak boleh masukkan all of, sekarang ni persoalan kita, cost of preparing the site tu. Nak masuk ke tak masuk? Qualify tak SQE? So it will depends on the 10% rule ni. Okay, so kalau faham saya nak proceed. Okay, the other incidental expenditure. Okay, so this one yang seterusnya. Okay, expenditure incurred on fish pond, animal pens, chicken houses, cages, building and other structural improvement on land. Okay, so kalau awak nampak item-item tu, so this actually referring kalaulah awak involved in agriculture. Okay, fish pond, animal pens, chicken houses semua on land which are used for the purpose of poultry farm, animal farm, inland fishing industry and other agricultural or pastoral pursuit. Okay, so this provision does not apply if the building is used as a living accommodation of a director, an individual having control of the business, individual who is a member of the management and administrative or clerical staff. Okay, so dia nak cerita kat sini, kita cerita pasal bangunan-bangunan kan dalam agriculture ataupun dalam fishing ni semua. Okay, for the bangunan-bangunan yang awak bina, so ada building kat sini. Okay, so for building here, akan jadi your incidental expenditure which is qualify for QE for the business of agriculture ni. But this one does not include building living use as living accommodation of director ataupun individual who is a member of the management and administrative or clerical staff. So all the building include kecuali building yang relate for this passage ni. Okay. Okay, incidental expenditure that qualify. Okay, apa yang qualify tadi, okay, selain daripada beberapa item tadi, installation apa semua tu. Okay, now QE, motor vehicle pula. Okay, QE for motor vehicle, license for commercial transportation of goods or passengers. Okay, so this one for motor vehicles ni ada dua kategori. For the first one is motor vehicle yang commercial transportation. So kalau lah commercial transportation, that one termasuklah kalau awak ada lori, awak ada taxi, okay, awak ada apa lagi? Van. Okay, so to get the QE for the motor vehicle, the first one is cash price of the vehicle. Okay, harga awak beli lah including basic accessories, okay, offered by all the motor vehicle dealer, and also registration fee which is required by the road transport department. Okay, so cash price harga awak beli termasuklah basic accessories and registration fee. So this one will be QE for motor vehicle. Okay, expenditure. Okay, untuk motor vehicle ni ada lagi expenditure yang awak incurred masa awak beli ni. Okay, but this expenditure does not qualify for capital allowance claim. Okay, the first one, road tax, insurance and hire purchase interest. Okay, hire purchase interest dia akan jadi allowable expenditure under section 33. So that one dia is not qualify as capital qualifying expenditure. Okay, reserve price for vehicle registration number including number, tender and service fee as they are private expenses. Okay, so awak nak special number for your plate number, so that one akan jadi private expenses. Okay, optional accessories or accessories offered only by some dealers. Okay, so this one is your choice kan, awak boleh ambil ataupun kalau tak ada pun tak apa. So this is also not qualify as qualifying expenditure. Okay, so it's another incidental expenditure. QE for motor vehicle, not licensed for transportation of goods of passenger. Okay, yang tadi kita cerita untuk QE for commercial. For commercial, sama ada awak transport goods or passengers. Okay, so that one all of the cost kan tadi kita tengok, all of the cash price, dia tak ada restriction. Okay, but for the motor vehicle untuk not licensed, not commercial, this one, okay, is restricted to 100,000 or 50,000 subject to the following condition. Okay, so macam pernah dengar je kan 100,000 or 50,000 kan? Okay, this one, kalau siapa-siapa ingat ada topik mana kita ada this rule ni? Macam pernah jumpa kan? Topik mana?
Lease rental.
Lease rental. Bagus. Ada topik lease rental. Okay, sama kelas. Untuk lease rental tu sama condition dia. Okay, untuk second hand car, for second hand car bila awak beli je terus restricted to 50,000. Okay, tak kisah harga second car awak tu berapa. Second hand car tu harga dia berapa. So straight away terus restricted to 50,000. Okay, next, new car with on the road price of not exceeding 150,000. So, harga kereta awak 150,000 and less. So, not exceeding. Not exceeding macam terbalik je. Okay, kelas terbalik ni Okay, not exceeding actually dia akan restrict to 100,000. Okay, kalau new car awak exceeding 150, dia akan restrict to 50,000. Dia terbalik Okay, new car with on the road price not exceeding 150. So 150,000 and less. Okay, dia punya restricted QE akan jadi 100,000. And kalau new car awak dengan road price dia exceeding melebihi 150, dia akan patah balik ke 50,000. Terbalik awak punya tick ni. Okay, so rasa-rasanya kan kelas kenapa ada syarat 150 dan 50, 100 ni semua ni? Patutnya kalau harga kereta awak lagi tinggi, patutnya lagi tinggilah restricted amount kan? Apa agaknya? Okay, so saya rasalah pada saya lah kan. Actually government nak encourage the company to buy Malaysian car. Malaysian car kan tak berapa mahal sangat kan. So kalau lah melebihi 150 ni dah masuk kategori kereta mewah lah. So kalau the company tu very successful, diorang tak pandang pun untuk beli kereta Malaysia kan. Okay, so dia akan beli kereta-kereta mewah which harga more than 150. So kalau more than 150, so dia tak dapatlah restricted of 100,000. Dia akan patah balik ke restricted tu 50,000. So this one is some effort of government to encourage the business to buy the local car which the price is not more than 150,000 so that they can enjoy the restriction of 100,000. Okay. Any problem setakat ni?
No.
Okay, so next kita nak tengok the second one, incidental expenditure on asset that has been used. Okay, asset that has been used ni bukanlah kita kata kita beli second hand car tau kelas. Okay, second hand car, second hand asset is also used kan. Okay, but okay this one ada dua paragraph yang kita akan tengok. Okay, paragraph 2A of schedule 3. Okay, they mention initially used. Initially used means the plant or machinery for non-business purpose and brought into use for the purpose of his business. Okay, sebelum ni dia guna as his private use. Okay, so laptop dia guna as private, dia guna sendiri. But bila dia start the business, then dia bawa sekali laptop tu to be used in the business. Okay, so how to identify the QE for this type of expenses? Okay, so you can use the market value of the plant or machinery at the time it is brought into use for business purpose. So, awak akan guna market value. But pada masa awak gunakan asset tu in your business, then you kena identify lah the market value of the plant or machinery. Okay. The second situation under paragraph 2C of schedule 3. Okay, the plant or machinery in his business outside Malaysia and then brought into use in his business in Malaysia. Okay, asset tu dia punya, dua-dua situation para A and para C ni dua-dua dia punya, but before this guna kat tempat lain. Okay, untuk 2C guna dekat business outside Malaysia, then bila dia buka business in Malaysia, dia bawa asset tu to be used in Malaysia. Okay, so to identify the QE, then you need to choose the lower of either market value or net book value. The lower, you choose the lower between these two of the market of machinery of the plant or machinery on the day it is brought into use in Malaysia. Okay. So, kenapa untuk paragraph 2A ni tak ada choice antara dua ni. You need to choose the market value sahaja. Kenapa untuk 2C you choose market value ke net book value? Kelas, kenapa? Kenapa agak-agak? Saya terleft ke apa ni?
Tak, madam ada. Madam,
Kelas awak ada ke tak ada ni?
ada.
Madam.
Ada. Saya takut saya terleft. So kenapa agak-agak kelas? Market value ke? Kenapa untuk kalau awak guna personal, kena choose kena guna market value terus. Tak ada nak choose.
Sebab dia tak start business lagi.
Sebab dia tak start business lagi. Okay, so kalau tak start business lagi, then
Tak ada depreciation.
tak ada depreciation. Yes, betul. That's why tak ada depreciation and tak ada depreciation, so that awak tak ada nak choice net book value tu memang tak ada lah, awak tak boleh dapat kan. Okay, so that's why dia guna market value straight away. Kalau daripada personal brought to business. Okay, so setakat ni okay kelas?
Okay.
Okay, so for these two situation, no initial allowance for the above QE. Okay, apa pula initial allowance ni? Okay, kita nak tengok next, apa pula? Okay, so ada contoh example kat sini. Emirhan bought a computer for 5,000 in 2012 for his personal use at home. On 2nd of January 2014, the computer was moved to his business premise for use in his sole proprietor business, Cyber Engineering Enterprise. The market value on 2nd of January 2014 was 3,000. Company closed its account on 31st December. Okay, so kat sini kalau dia from the personal bawa ke business, so awak terus dah ambil market value. Okay, so second situation. Okay, so awak terus ambil market value je kat sini. Okay, second situation, Super Sdn Bhd carries on a business outside Malaysia and headquartered in Perth, Australia. On 1st of April 2014, two machines in the Perth were transferred and used for business in its branches in Malaysia. Business accounts are prepared for the period ending 31st March 2015. On 1st of April 2014, the net book value of the machine was 600,000 while the market value was 900,000. Okay class, this situation nak pilih yang mana as your QE?
Net book value. Net book value.
Okay, net book value which is lower than the market value. Okay. Okay, next kita tengok capital expenditure incurred on plant and machinery shall not include any amount paid to a non-resident person for service rendered in connection with installation or operation of that machinery or plant if withholding tax has not been deducted and paid to the Director General. Okay, dah pernah jumpa tak withholding tax ni? Dah pernah jumpa tak? Dalam soalan bisnes juga kan?
Pernah.
So soalan bisnes tu all rounded kan, sebenarnya banyak benda yang awak dah jumpa dalam bisnes tu. Okay, so dia cerita apa kat sini? Capital expenditure incurred on plant and machinery shall not include any amount paid to non-resident for service. Okay, so awak gunakan service of non-resident person untuk installation. Okay, so kalau non-resident person, awak kena bayar withholding tax. Bukan awak kena bayar, awak kena retain. Okay, withholding tax, tak boleh bayar semua pada dia. So kalau awak tak comply this withholding tax, okay, awak tak bayar ke LHDN this withholding tax, so whatever the capital expenditure, the expenses incurred untuk installation tu tak boleh include, shall not include. Okay, So awak kena comply jugalah dengan withholding tax apa semua ni, and then barulah awak boleh masukkan installation cost apa tu semua as your QPE. Okay, so dia berkait-kait jugalah ni. Okay, so now kita proceed for basis period. Okay, basis period for a year of assessment for qualifying plan expenditure, QE, equal to basis period for a year assessment of a business source of income of a person. So dia akan sama. Okay, kalau individual tu is kalau itu adalah individu, so awak akan ikutlah year of calendar year. Kalau individu tu is company, so kita akan ikut year of assessment ataupun accounting period of the company. Basis period lah Okay, so example kat sini, Kintas dan Berhad incurred the following capital expenditure for purpose of its business. Okay, so dia beli plant and machinery of 100,000 on 30 December 2020. Okay, then second asset dia beli office equipment of 10,000 on 3rd January 2021. Okay, so Kinta close its account annually to 31st December. So, kalau 31st December close, okay. So, untuk asset, plant and machinery, dia start akan kira capital allowance for 2020, and for office equipment, dia akan start kira from 2021. Okay, kenapa saya kata start kira? Sebab for capital allowance, you need to calculate for yearly. Okay, sama macam depreciation which you awak claim setiap tahun kan. Okay, so untuk capital allowance pun sama, awak akan claim setiap tahun start from the year of purchase. So for plant and machinery, since you purchase on 2020, so awak boleh claim start from 2020. Sama jugalah for office equipment, bila awak start, awak beli from 2021, then you can claim the capital allowance start from 2021. Okay, dim incurred. Okay, kenapa ada words dim tu kelas? Dim tu maksudnya apa? Dim. Dim tu dah berlaku tak? Awak dah buat tak? Dah berlaku tak? Dim. Dim tu macam awak buat anggaran tau. Seolah-olah dah berlaku macam tu. Okay, capital expenditure incurred on the machinery or plant for purpose of business shall be deemed incurred on the day where the machinery or plant is capable of being used for the purpose of the business. Okay, so sekarang dia dah guna tak ni? Belum So kita belum guna lagi deem. So dia belum guna lagi, maybe dia dah beli. Okay, so macam mana awak nak identify awak dah boleh claim ke belum capital allowance tu? Okay, so kalau for the plant and machinery ni, kita nak tengok tarikh bila awak boleh start claim. Okay, so kita nak tengok start shall be deemed incurred on the day where the machinery or plant is capable of being used. Dah boleh guna untuk purpose of business, means that awak dah boleh kira, dah start boleh kira. Sometimes awak beli dulu tapi sebab harga dia murah ke, awak dapat offer yang bagus ke, awak beli dulu. Tapi awak tak guna pun lagi sebab kadang-kadang plan of awak punya bangunan kilang tu tak siap lagi. Okay, so tak guna, then means that at the situation awak tak guna pun lagi. Tapi kalau awak dah beli machinery tu, dia dah ada capability of being used, dah boleh digunakan. So maksudnya pada masa tu awak dah boleh claim. Okay, sebab syarat awak tadi untuk claim awak kena owner, awak mesti guna in business. So sekarang ni awak tak guna lagi, kilang tak siap lagi. Tapi sebab dia dah capable, dia dah boleh diguna, so means that at that time awak dah boleh claim capital allowance for this machinery. Okay, follow?
Maksudnya dia dah claim tu masa dia dah boleh guna ataupun masa dia dah guna?
Dah boleh guna, capable of being used. Okay, so gym incurred ni awak tak guna pun lagi.
Oh, okay, maksudnya dah sempurna baru kita kira kan?
Ya, betul.
Okay.
Okay, so deem incurred. Ada example kat sini. If machinery was purchased in December 2020 and was not operational as certain parts were lost in transit, the parts could only be made available in January 2021. Okay, so the expenditure is deemed to be incurred in January 2021. Okay, so this situation awak dah beli awal but ada parts yang hilang tak boleh guna. Okay, so deemed to be incurred in January 2021. Okay, so macam example saya tadi, dia dah ada tapi dia tak guna lagi. Okay, dia tak boleh guna lagi sebab dia pula yang tak ready. So kalau macam tu, masa dia dah ready untuk digunakan tu awak dah boleh claim sebenarnya. Okay, ni situation terbalik lah. By the time awak beli, awak tak boleh guna lagi kan. So by the time awak boleh guna, then baru awak boleh claim capital allowance. Okay, where a person has incurred capital expenditure for the purpose of his business of which he is about to carry on. Okay, the expenditure shall be deemed to be incurred when he commences to carry on his business. Okay, so this one ceritanya business dia tak bermula lagi tapi dia dah prepare, dah beli barang-barang, dah beli machinery. So business dia tak start lagi. So kalau macam mana, masa bila dia boleh claim capital allowance? Okay, so this one okay, so business of which he is about to carry on. Okay, so dia boleh claim capital allowance dia when he commences to carry on his business. Dia dah bermula baru dia boleh claim capital allowance. Okay, kalau business dia tak bermula lagi, then dia tak boleh claim lah capital allowance tu. Okay, so dia akan balik kepada syarat-syarat asal tadi. Mesti guna in the business, awak dah ada business. So dekat sini business dia tak bermula, then awak tak boleh claim lah. Dia mula baru, business tu dah bermula baru awak boleh claim the capital allowance. Okay, kat situ boleh kelas?
Boleh.
Boleh. Okay. So now capital allowance kita dah jumpa kan. So what are capital allowance? So ada beberapa item kat sini, ada initial allowance. Okay, awak dah jumpa tadi apa dia initial allowance, apa dia annual allowance, ada apa dia accelerated capital allowance. Okay, then asset with lifespan not more than 2 years, so small value asset and also small medium enterprise company. Okay, ada beberapa kategori lah kita punya capital allowance ni. Okay, initial allowance. Okay, words. The words initial tu maksud dia apa kelas? Okay, initial. Maksud dia?
First time.
First time.
Okay, first time Okay, initial allowance, first time allowance under basis period. Okay, so initial allowance ni biasanya kalau awak claim tahun pertama awak beli, awak purchase the non-current asset, awak boleh claim the initial allowance. Okay, acquire and own the asset during awak beli your non-current asset during the basis year. Okay, so for the basis year tu awak boleh claim initial allowance. Okay, so second reason, second condition is the owner of the asset at the end of basis year. Okay, so awak beli tahun tu 2021, lepas tu awak own the asset sampai habis tahun 2021. So for this reason you can claim initial allowance. And also the asset is used for the purpose of his business. Okay, this one memang obvious lah Okay, so kalau asset tu awak beli dan tahun tu masih ada lagi. Okay, so second situation, acquire and dispose the asset during the basis period.
Madam.
Okay, yeah.
Wi-Fi mati madam.
Apa mati?
Madam,
Ya.
dekat kelas dengan dekat asrama wifi kita orang tak ada sebab sekarang tiba-tiba tak ada elektrik. So ramai tengah lagging sekarang.
Okay, so saya stop dulu. Nanti kalau dah ada awak boleh inform balik tak?
Boleh. Nanti saya inform balik.
Okay,
Tapi
okay.
mungkin lama madam selalunya tak ada elektrik ni.
Kenapa tak related pula hari ni? Aduh, macam hal lah college ni pula.
Tak tahu.
Ah,
Selalunya dekat asrama tak ada, kat kelas ada tapi kat kelas pun tak ada sekarang. Jadi tak ada wifi.
okay, so kalau macam tu kita stop dulu, nanti bila-bila dah on dah okay awak bagi tahu saya eh.
Okay madam.
Okay.